Hey folks, ET here, and tonight I am going to talk to you a little bit about the new charts page, how powerful it is, kind of how to navigate it, kind of go through and see the different things and check some things out. So the first thing obviously you want to do if you are struggling to figure out where to find it, you click your menu bar here and you go ahead and click the charts button, and that's going to bring you to here. Okay, and you're going to see this right here is where you search for your different tickers. And we'll just kind of walk through a little bit and look at some different options, check some different things. You can obviously go candlestick, bars, or line. Obviously I have it set how I have it set already. There's some interesting things that you can choose here, okay? And there's a couple of different things you can look at. You can have your net flow painted over it so you can see what it looks like, and as you can see, our net flow is working up here, and then net flow started to work down on it, and look what happened right there. Very interesting to see. One that I really like to check is customer calls, just kind of check their positioning there. They are shrinking a bit, but we still had that pretty good sized down drop day right there. So we'll just go through the different indicators. You can see what the dealer deltas are starting to look like, and if they're building up or not. You can go ahead and check your customer puts as well. You can check ODTE flow if you want, but what I really like, and I'm just going to show you what I like to do for SPY particularly, and then we'll walk through some other ones. I like to keep it on the 5-minute generally during the day when I'm just trading and scalping, just to see how that goes, and then I very much like to add the ODTE GEX to it. Now what this does, and I will say that you will need to kind of refresh that every once in a while. You can hit the reset and bring it back up. I do it about every 30 minutes just to check for change, but it's really kind of in lieu of having to look at this spot all day here, right? I still do to see if there's anything that's changing a little bit, like we saw this 446 kind of getting a downwards tail there on the buy time at the end of the day that helped me indicate that we might be seeing some more downside. But right here, and I can just kind of walk you through a play I made today, which I called out in the trading Discord, kind of gave where I was looking to short today, even though we did have our strong MNF and TFC throughout that time. And what worked out pretty well is we saw convergence starting to taper off around that period of time. We started to see the lines get smaller, and I always say watch these lines for shrinking and then for some switching to gray. So what I was talking about is we did have this chart up, which was right there, the 452.86. Apologies for being 4 cents off on the top. So anyways, when we were going through this, what I was seeing was very large negative gamma, which can repel. Now, I did say if we break above and hold here above this 453, we could repel upwards. But I was going for a short scalp because I saw this massive piece of gamma right here. And as we point out, gamma really does work best on SPY. It works on other tickers, but I think it's best used as more of a guide in your direction based off support resistance on other tickers. I think that's a layer you want to add on there as you go. So anyways, we see this big negative level here, or big positive level here, sorry, positive repels. My bad if I said negative. Positive levels repel, and so I thought we're going to have a positive level repel here, quite likely. 451 was pulling, as we can see, a very big negative. Negatives attract. Now, what I did not anticipate was it to just continue selling throughout the day. And we didn't really get even much of a bounce around these ones. In fact, when we got to this positive level here, we repelled off of it and went downwards some more, which was interesting to see. So what I was really looking at there was just simply painting it on and checking the positive and the negative levels to draw out the play that I wanted, all right, while keeping net flow a little bit in mind, seeing what we're going on. But here would have been a nice spot. If convergence was still way green, I would not have thought about shorting here, but since it had been shrinking and going gray, I went ahead and took it. So it's a really simple way of looking at it. Now you can also, we'll go ahead and just click reset, and we can just check its regular gamma levels here. There we go. Whoops, clicked it too many times. That was my problem. So I've added the gamma levels at max here. Let's click reset. There we are. That's just going to keep giving them to me because I clicked so many times. That's really nice of it. So anyway, so our overall gamma levels are right here. And a good thing to note is if you're wanting a bigger picture, you go ahead and choose a different time frame and go ahead and pull your GEX levels and see where you're at. So you can see where your most negative and positive levels are. So if we run up a little bit, on Monday, you can see that 449 could be a repel spot if it can't make it over, and we're seeing some bearish confluence from the other tools. So pretty interesting to see there. We can also see that we've got a very big pull towards 445 on that negative level right there as well. That's another interesting thing to take a look at. Sometimes I just want to come out and I want to check my support resistance lines. And here's something that I do with other tickers, and I'll show it here in a few minutes. Is I like to go ahead and grab my support resistance, and then I want to grab my gamma levels. Okay, and I want to see where those things interact a little bit. Okay, so it says we've got an SR here at 449.51, and look at that, we've got a gamma level near that as well. The real sauce is in finding these levels that match up a little bit, and then starting to formulate your thesis on a play around that, especially if you're swing trading. Okay, so now we're going to take a look over here and take a look at the other options we have, and then I'll talk about Talos for a few seconds. I'll let you play around with Talos as you go through. And you can see here, just when we click stock, we start to see our seasonality. Okay, July win percentage is pretty high. We get into August, it shrinks down quite a bit. We go from 80 to 63, so that's a closed green month. Okay, so this gives you a quick glimpse as to what your seasonality is for SPY as you go along. Okay, now it's also showing you what dark pools have been looking like, how heavy they are, if they've been going up and down and things like that. And here's another important fact. It's got its algo flow here, but it's also got its customer positioning. Customer positioning is fairly new, and one important thing I want to add is that I kind of started layering this on for a lot of my swing plays. What I'm looking for if I'm entering a swing, if I'm going long, I'm looking for a little bit of customer position to be bullish or bearish, so and finding a support and resistance near a GEX to enter. Okay, and then I'm switching it up and wanting to go long when it starts to turn green towards a resistance above and a gamma above. You can also take a look at its highest exposures here by mousing over them. Pretty interesting to see, not that difficult, right? You just kind of roll over. You can see where the biggest pulls and biggest repels might happen. Pretty simple thing. Then you can just go into the overall market over here as you're going through. So this keeps you from having to scroll through, look here, look here, look here, look here. Okay, so you can kind of skip an awful lot of that and just scroll through this area here. Your most active flow, you can switch from calls to puts. This is really your new one-stop shop for viewing things. It takes a little bit of getting used to, I understand that, but as you go, you can see your DEX, you can see your 0 DTE GEX here as well. So you can kind of see all of this stuff, your flow map, your top dark pools, the dark flow, your sector rotation. So these three tabs here are going to keep you from really, and you'll start seeing when I start doing some of my Sunday videos, probably, you'll start seeing me skip going through a lot of these pages and looking through these different things and just checking these individual tabs here to see what's going on. Okay, so that is a pretty easy walkthrough of just how I've been using it just to look at SPY. Now let's take a look at just some other trades. One of the things that we talked about this week, let's see, FedEx was a play that we alerted Sunday before the market opened, and we had discussed a short, and we alerted all the servers that subbed up to us so thank you to all those servers that did that. So a pretty simple thing is I went ahead and I grabbed my support resistance levels, all right, and then I went ahead and grabbed my gamma levels as well. Like I said, gamma is less of a factor on individual tickers than it is SPY. It really does manage to control SPY well, and I use them as guides here when I'm looking at my support resistance levels. So pretty simple to see. We had a pretty strong negative pull right here, and it also rested at a support resistance. We broke above, but not for very long. We could not stay above it. Okay, we didn't have candles close very long above it on the 5 or the 15, to be honest, and we started to drop. So then I saw we had a resistance or a support down here at 260, 297, and if you read what I posted for our server follows, my exit was at 263. Now, why would I say 263 when there's a gamma here at 262.50, which I do believe we hit anyways. I think we got to 262.50, 24 roughly before it bounced back up, because this is a historical support resistance drawn by our auto levels here. So this was my real first spot to trim. We did catch 270, 263 in 1 week, and there was still 1 week left on the cons that I posted, so not bad. That's kind of how I start to look. What I really want to find is I really want to find these Greeks that are laying near support resistance, because listen, the MMs, dealers, whoever, they're going to know these historical levels, and money's going to be placed around these spots, in my opinion, with this gamma, and that's what you're kind of going to see through how it works. And when I was planning it out, I was looking for different things. I saw that our customer position was bearish for 2 weeks, as you see right there, which helps us a lot. I saw that there was a pretty big gamma pull here, just pointing out as that, with that area going there. And so I just kind of went through and I checked all of those different things. I also looked to see that August isn't the most profitable month, closing green, 42.11. So that is another thing that I went through. Finding plays and being patient. Finding plays isn't that difficult sometimes. It's the patience of waiting on the play, and understanding where price could go and where you want it to go, and then finding those spots. As we can see here in October, we're going to want to find out. Go ahead and set yourself a reminder, your Hey Siri or Hey Google, and say, hey, in October, I would like to be reminded to start looking at FedEx again, maybe even the end of September, to see where our levels are and where it could go. Hopefully this is a decent explanation for you and helps you understand a little bit how this new spot works. It is so interesting, and there is so much information on one page. You do not need to go many other places to do about anything anymore. I went from 7 tabs open to about 3, and that is about how I'm working right now. I still keep my divs up a little bit for flash, but other than that, not really. I'm going through this entire spot right here and just checking all of this information that we have available. So that is what I'm doing there. Last thing I'll do is I'll talk about Talos. Very important thing. When you are on Talos, when you're using Talos, be on the ticker that you are asking questions about. Just go ahead and help yourself out there a little bit by being on that ticker. And you can see down here it says about FedEx. Then ask your question and give it a few seconds to go ahead and tally what it has to say, and then read through that. I hope everybody has a good night. I hope this helps you understand how to use the charts page a little better. Go ahead and ask in the comments if you need some more information, or respond to the tweet when it comes out, and we'll go from there. Everybody have a great night.